The lights go out, crowd starts chanting Cody, and Kingdom hits, and we see Cody's eye line, and we're waiting ever so long for this elevator to take off, and then it rises. Like, it was like the world stood still for about 3 seconds.
They'll edit that in post too.
That will look seamless as well. So he rises up from like this box he's in, and then he walks down like this custom ramp they have for him. So he's got a ramp to get onto the ramp of Raw.
Right. I mean, I don't imagine that type of set is built into your typical Raw set. So, that was a WrestleMania special, and we'll see if they can, keep, like, is this his permanent thing that he's got now? They're really making a big deal out of this guy.
Listen, it's a superstar entrance. It's a superstar entrance. He comes in, and this crowd, like, he is really milking this reaction and knowing all the little tricks to sustain it, and just, he was really amping it up to encourage the crowd to just keep going and get kind of that Hogan sustain pop.
Or the Undertaker at the Hall of Fame sustained pop. It wasn't quite that length, but a similar feel. Yeah,
he knows the tricks, and then finally says, "So what do you guys want to talk about?" It has been 47 days since it became known he was a free agent, and he had stayed silent. And people think that the decision to return to WWE was difficult. It wasn't. And he refers to the star that left them in the dust, and the man who stands here today after signing a multi-year deal, which led to the crowd chanting, "You deserve it," for getting a multiple on this contract. Yes.
Yeah.
You deserve an option.
You deserve this multi-year contract?
Yes.
I don't know. Like, does it sound like it's such an achievement, like, to have a multi-year like Cody Rhodes could have had a multi-year contract at really any point. Like, he left his contract in the WWE. So, I don't know. Does it sound like that big of an achievement to, a typical audience member to think?
Well, the guy left, and he came back with a much bigger deal than the one he left. So
I guess the presumption, yeah, you're right, is that he's making a lot more money.
He said that if he had any doubt about coming back, it was gone as soon as he walked down the ramp at WrestleMania and beat one of the best in Seth Rollins, and says that he is an avid reader and goes to the quote, "A man finds his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it." And he shows a photo on the screen of Dusty Rhodes holding up the WWF Championship from September of 97 in the Garden when he had wrestled superstar Billy Graham. And he talks about Dusty and how everyone reveres him. To him, that was my hero. And he's getting choked up, and says that photo was in his parents' above his parents' mantle right up until the end, and was the photo that he's holding the same title that Hulk Hogan held, that The Undertaker held, that Shawn Michaels held, and that Triple H even held. And he says that when he was a child and he saw that photo, he went to his dad and said, "I didn't know you were a champion like Hulk Hogan." And Dusty explained the champion's advantage, that he won by countout and didn't take the belt home with him. So he was never actually WWF champion. And the dream died, and that opportunity passed. Or did it? And says that he can't physically put that title onto his father, but he can put it around the waist of the American Nightmare. He is finally ready, and he is going to do it for the American dream.
Exactly in line with everything he's been saying throughout the week in interviews, in his press conference. I mean, it is clearly, whether or not we choose to believe it is his real motivation for signing with the company, it makes for a wonderful babyface story. And I thought he did a fantastic job here of laying it out, setting course, calling his shot, beginning his hero's journey. As a wrestling promo, I thought it was a hell of a promo.
To me, this was such a different promo than we are exposed to on regular WWE programming. He sounded like a person with like a depth to this character. He's got this overarching motivation for everything he does from this point forward. Everything is about getting to this title. And this could be a 6-month story. It could be a 1-year story. It's always like that is the true north of this character, is getting to that title. And I think that this overall program could benefit so greatly from everyone just at some point, like identifying that is the goal, that everyone is striving for this title. And I thought he did a great job here. And it was also like noteworthy that this was done in Dallas, where like World Class was largely built on the Von Erichs all going for the title that Fritz could never win. So I think your older audience that, maybe was not here in attendance, but nonetheless, like some easy tie-in, I think, for a lot of people to this motivation for Cody with like the story of the Von Erichs and then Kerry finally winning it after David had died. So I thought it was a tremendous promo. It was just like, it was not a guy playing a character. It was just, it felt like a real emotional promo, and also not any of the stuff that we really found grating with Cody towards the end, and talking about, turning and, taking shots at people on the roster that he's never working with, like stuff that was like that disastrous promo near the end before the Guevara match. This was just a focus-centered Cody Rhodes with a direction, and he's a fantastic promo.
He is, yeah. And to me, like, I think one of the things that we were criticizing about his, latter promos in AEW was perhaps the fact that he maybe is given almost a little too much autonomy, where he might be somebody who really might benefit from an editor. And I don't know exactly how much they're working with him. I'm sure he's being given a huge amount of autonomy for a WWE performance too. But I'm also assuming that, he's going to have to be able to collaborate a bit more with various people, and being able to work with the Vince McMahon to go over the words and discarding some of the stuff that otherwise might not necessarily work for any audience might actually benefit him. So week one has been tremendous so far for Cody Rhodes. I say that this was a great promo, but at the same time, I do wonder if the sincerity ultimately starts to kind of wear thin on these types of performances. And like, what I mean by that is, when he was starting this type of promo, whether it be at All In or like towards the beginning of AEW, like it was like a very much a rah rallying cry promo. He was great. Like, he was the face of that franchise. But towards the end, like, it just started to kind of feel insincere and started to feel authentic, and these crowds started to turn on him. So week one here in the WWE, we're all on board. It's like, hey, here's like a top babyface with a great sounding promo. But like, I just wonder if in the future in the WWE with the WWE audience, will they start to turn on Cody for like, man, sometimes like those tears might not necessarily feel completely authentic, even though I'm sure they are, but the scripts just feel so rehearsed that it does not feel, let's say, for instance, like a CM Punk or like a Daniel Bryan when they speak.
I felt that he did not, to me, have like the WWE speak in this kind of a promo. Like, I did feel like this was like the Cody style.
But it's not the WWE speak that the AEW audience was turning on. It was the Cody speak that they were turning on.
And that's going to be the question. Like, everyone knows that coming in, Cody was going to get this response, and the question will be where we are come May, come June, where this is. Like, it's very possible. Also, we'll mention this here, and this comes from Pat LaPrade, who was on the Post Daily News show today, if you want to hear that. But the dark main event was Cody Rhodes beating Kevin Owens in 6 minutes. He said it was a good match. As Cody was laying down, Owens did the Young Bucks pose. They went outside, and The Rock's mother, Otta Johnson, who was in the front row, held Owens while Cody hit him, bionic elbow, crossroads, and Cody got the win and then did a promo afterward.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a great little bonus for a crowd that probably was a little disappointed by the final segment that we had to talk about on air.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you want to send the crowd home with like a dark match, and Cody would be the one to do it. So there you go.
I would love to see an extended version of that on TV, or a PLE.
A PLE, yes, maybe. But after the promo, Seth Rollins interrupts, coming down. The crowd is humming along to his theme. Cody looks at him, offers his hand, and Rollins is standing there, and then finally shakes his hand, laughs in his face, and says, "Welcome home." So I would suggest that we are going to get at least one more match between these two. And I
thought, didn't you think this settled it? Like the handshake, like, wasn't this the end, or did you read it differently?
I felt we're still going to get one more match out of these two from doing this. I don't know if Like, why do this unless it kind of like babyfaces Seth Rollins? If this would just be the end of it.
Well, if you're babyfacing him, why would you do another match?
I think they're not. I think this is going to be Seth still coming back, and I think these two will still be linked together after this. That's how I read the segment.
Like I read a team up.
I don't see them teaming up, but I don't know. We'll see. I just feel if Rollins was getting involved here, I don't know if to me, I would say at least do this on TV maybe one more time, but I could also see it because I don't see Cody going for the title next, so he's as good an option as any to continue this with. But
the handshakes to me are kind of nice in that, like, to me, they sometimes establish that, hey, like, the match that these two had was so great that whatever grudge that they had, you know, it has to be put aside because they both ultimately ended up winning because it was a tremendous match. It was almost like kind of one of those standing ovations. And to me, it felt like, yeah, they were baby facing Rollins for a different direction.
Yeah. Well, you're right. There was no conflict here. It was sort of just, you know, it was kind of a mutual respect thing at the end. So if that's it, that's it. But a lot of your top guys are kind of tied up now with people. So, you know, Kevin Owens now has a doppelganger to deal with, so I don't know if he's free.